is Stephanie with Festive Creations by Stephanie. Guys, look what I have. Look what I have. I have a grapevine. I have a sign here, but I actually have a couple of other signs off to the side. I've got greenery, ficus. I know the name of that. And then I have some variegated grass here. So I'm going to do a little project. So, guys, we're going to be making something with the grapevine tonight and all this greenery, but I'm actually going to start things out tonight with a bow. And not just one bow, I'm going to do a couple of bows, and I'm going to show you why. Because I'm going to show you how this design, where did I put my bow, Deborah? How this design can be so versatile. So, grapevine, most of the time you can find grapevine in your local stores, Hobby Lobby, Walmart. Some Walmarts carry them. Joann Fabrics carries them. Michael's, I believe, carries them as well. So grapevines are usually typically easy to find. However, I know that some people have said that they can't get grapevines in their area. That stinks because it's my favorite. Okay, so I'm actually going to start out making two different bows. And the first one, I'm trying to decide which way I want to go. I want to do this, and I was going to look and see if I had any of this already open. If I do, oops, that would be an oops. So I want to do kind of an everyday bow. That's what I want to start out with. So we're just going to do, this is just a diagonal print. It's nothing that is like screaming, oh, look at the style. I wanted to show you guys that you don't have to have designer ribbon to make a designer project, right? All right, so this is just a tan and cream diagonal print. All right, so take this, and I'm looking around on my shelf. There it is. And this ribbon, which I don't know what color it's called, but it's kind of a cream colored. And we're just going to use these two simple colors on this bow. And I'm going to come in just a little bit shorter on my loops on this bow. Now, some people like to do like a third or an additional loop right here, and it covers, it kind of gives it a center. So I'm going to show you that on this one. And I like using different bow makers. This is the Bow Dabra. So you see how I did just that small loop right there? So we're going to do a small loop in the center, and it'll be like a little bud coming out of the center. Give that a snip. Nip this. Okay. Now I'm going to take my center wire and pull this off. And you all know that when you tighten your wire on your bow, you turn the bow, not the wire. It makes a tighter fit around the bow itself. And I'm going to dovetail those. So this is just a simple, simplistic bow, nothing over the top, and we'll fluff it around. But see that little loop in the center kind of gives it a little bud in the center. So there's bow number 1. We're going to set that off to the side. And now we're going to make bow number 2. So I'm actually going to use the striped and the farmhouse ribbon for this one. And I don't know if I want to use the black and white or if I want to go that route. I think I want to do black and white. I know I do. I know I do. Y'all are funny. Okay, so I've got my second one made. And let me kind of get it in some kind of order. Of course, I will get it to its final destination once I attach it. And do a little dovetail there. Okay, so we've got a couple of bows here. And they're totally different style of bows, right? So we've got one is the calm, soft colors. One is the bolder colors. And I gotta quit fluffing. Where's Denisha? She's gonna be yelling at me here in a minute. So now let's take our grapevine. We set these off to the side. I don't need these right now. And let me show you how versatile this can be. So I have some variegated ficus. I have some freesia. And the freesia, 1, 2, has 4 or 5 stems on it. Yep. Okay, so grapevines. Little rule, find the right side. So I had it this way first and it's not laying flush. Well, I turn it over and it's laying very nice, and I see that there is a stem sticking out right there. So I obviously don't want that next to my customer's door, right? I don't want it scratching anything. So I'm going to take some of the ficus and we're going to dissect that a little bit. And I'm going to start out with 3 sections. So I've got the 3. That's the joy of working with grapevine. So I've got 3 sections here. So I'm going to start by adding some ficus around my grapevine. And this little guy actually is going to be too tall. So I'm going to cut it off right above that stem. So now I have 2 pieces. So I'm just going to find this. So you see how it's filling in? This is going to be the bottom of my wreath. These are so inexpensive and they're great fillers. So it helps fill in those blank spots and gives your grapevine like that doesn't cost a whole lot of money, but when you get done, it is an outstanding filler and it really makes it go to that next level. Okay, I think just a little bit more right in there. So I'm probably going to use a total of 4. Now I haven't glued anything down yet, so I will be doing that here in a minute. My glue gun is warming up as we speak. All right, perfect. Yeah, and believe it or not, guys, Walmart's got some really great ferns. Now, so once I figure out my placement, so I actually have a metal hole punch that I use, and then you can also use like the cable tie holders. Okay, first day with my new tongue. Cable tie mount is what I'm trying to say on those. So it's just a matter of preference, and sometimes it's a matter of design, right? So let me zoom back in here. Darlene, they are a sign of hospitality. Thank you very, very much, Diane. I made a wreath last year, made my sign gnome, sweet gnome. Awesome. Guys, if you do wreaths for to sell, get those gnomes out there. And she had another one, I think that was a gnome sign that was similar to that. But I wanted that because purple is one of my favorite colors. And of course I had some ribbon that's going to go perfect with that. You know, you got to think about those critical things. You got to have the ribbon to go along with it. What's going to match with what? Well, I have purple ribbon. And the perfect purple ribbon. When I saw that sign, I'm like, oh, I got to have that. So yes, Brenda, she is going, actually she's going purple butterflies for the, Jill's my daughter, for those of you who don't know, and she's expecting her first child. So the baby shower, Chris Haas, if you're on here, thank you so very much. I love each and every one of these. Affordable wreath signs, guys. I don't know which one's my favorite. I love that pineapple one. I can do so much with that. So my daughter is expecting her first child, and so she decided for the baby shower, she's doing butterflies. So Mama made the invitations on her Cricut. I got all like inspirational there, and made the invitations on my Cricut and got those sent out before I went to Mastermind. And then her room, though, she's painting it in a pale gray with white trim. She really likes the elephants, but she's like, Mom, elephants are for boys. And of course I'm going, no, they make pink elephants, girl. You can make it a feminine room with the elephants. So she still hasn't finished painting it. I offered to come over and help her, and she's like, no, that's all right. So guys, on my grapevines, it's critical is to go back and do the pull test. So I'm just making sure that every one of these ficus are glued in. If any of them are loose, need a second spot of glue, like that one right there. So I'm just going to add another touch of glue. And then I'm going to move on to this next layer. So grapevines can be a layering process. Okay, so I actually had a Freesia that I had open from before, so I'm going to go ahead. They actually come with 5 different stems. So I'm going to use this one first. All right, so my Freesia, I'm going to integrate in here as well, and it's hard to do upside down, you guys. So let me bring it up to me. There we go. Now I feel like I'm a little better. So this isn't even one whole Freesia. This is only part. It's about a half of one. So just by adding that already, you guys can see how that pop of white integrates there. So just by adding that little bit, that was only 2 stems. I'm going to go ahead and cut one more off of this other bush and see where that takes us. So the whole point of this design, guys, is that you don't have to go super duper over the top to create a nice design. So we started out with our ficus. And now we added some of this Freesia. Guys, I started shopping florals. I have a nice cart from my supplier. Yeah, I'm thinking this fall I'm going to have a lot more florals in my store. I mean, it only makes sense. I love doing grapevines. Why wouldn't I carry more floral, right? Just gonna rock your socks off. All right. Now let's add. So this is just a variegated greenery. This is actually a plastic greenery. And I don't mind using plastic. Some people get funny about the texture of things. However, one nice thing about this one is you can slide it up and make a stem like this, or you can slide it down and have it more spread out. So it's versatile in that aspect. And when I get to this point on my grapevine, I kind of like to use my glue pot a little more. So I'm going to dip that in. So these extra leaves that came off the Freesia, I'm actually clipping them down where I trimmed off the Freesia, and I'm going to use those as a filler as well. So every part, that's the nice part about the greenery, is everything is usable. Even the stems, like I'll keep the wire stems and put them in a little pot and use them for extensions for other projects. So I use a lot of all of that. Okay, so look at how much that is filling up with the greenery, right? So that is Freesia, the variegated, and ficus. That's it. That's all we used in this. Now, I'm not going to attach these yet, but I'm going to show you some versatility here. So the reason I made 2 bows is because I wanted to show you how this design can be so versatile to meet just about any need. So I'm not going to attach this bow, but I am going to get it at least somewhat anchored here so it'll behave itself. And this is why I tend to not use wire. Okay, there we go. All right, so if I take this bow and I add this sign, look at our wreath. So this, I love doing the neutral, not season specific, because a lot of people, or I won't say a lot, but some people don't want a wreath for every season. They want something that they can hang on their door all season long and not have to worry about swapping it out. I'm not one of those, but there's some people that are. So this one, Family, Where Life Begins and Love Never Ends, can hang on my door all year round, right? So I have that. You could also take another neutral sign, such as Home is Where Our Story Begins, and we can incorporate that. Look at the variation and the colors. So even though there's no black in here, we have the dark brown, and look at how all of those colors kind of blend together, and it really makes that sign pop out. So far, so good. Then we have another neutral sign. Home is Where the Heart Is. So just with one bow, I could take 3 different signs and come up with 3 different looks with this one bow, right? Now, watch what happens. I'm going to use the same 3 signs, and I'm going to take off our black and white farmhouse bow, Well, if I don't have it buried too deep there, I didn't think I twisted, there we go. I didn't think I twisted around there. Now we're going to take our softer colors. Look, I speak softly when I talk about softer colors, and do the same thing. So we've got our tails there. We're going to take our sign, and now we've added a neutral, a year-round wreath with the home sign. We just put our bow in a different place. We could still put the bow up here, but we can place our bow down here and we have a different look there. But again, the neutral every day, and watch what it looks like with this sign. This is going to knock your socks off. So when we add this one, who would not want that hanging on their door? Is that not gorgeous? Is it not gorgeous? So again, one bow, adding that sign, and look at how that all pops together. One wreath design. So if you guys make wreaths, and if you're somebody that lists them on Etsy, guess what? I would actually take this wreath, which I'm going to here in a minute. I think this is my favorite, but I would take this wreath, I would attach that sign, and I would snap a picture. Then I would take and put the next sign on it, snap a picture, and take the next sign. So you get the idea, and I would list it as 3 separate wreaths, because I could market that as 3 separate wreaths. I only have to have one in my house, but just by swapping out the bow and the sign, or just the signs or whatever, you can actually come up with, and it's duplicating the same design all over again. So you could actually make one wreath, have several listings on your Etsy store, and how long does it take to put a grapevine together? This is not long at all, right? So I'm actually going to attach this bow, and I want you guys to remember the farmhouse bow, because that's going to come into play not tonight, but in the near future. How are you, girl? Sarah, I love her to death. Met her at Mastermind this last week and bought her ebook on subscription boxes. I shared it on my DIY page. Highly recommend it, folks. Highly recommend it. Great information, and even if you're not thinking about subscription boxes, there's great information that it shares. Do you list your supplies? Pamela, I do. You can actually go to a couple of different places. The easiest place for me to tell you is to go to myfestivesupplies.com, or you can go to my website, which is festivecreationsbystephanie.com. So all of my supplies are in my store, and of course I update them frequently. I try to stay trendy, right? So I'm going to add this little guy on here. I really like the way that those two pop together, so I'm actually going to add them. And this is one of those instances where I'm probably going to keep that jute rope and make it a part of my design because of the naturals in it. So let me attach this guy. Now he does have holes in him already, so I can take when I deal with grapevine, I use the brown pipe cleaners a lot, so it kind of blends in better with the grapevine. So I'm just going to add a pipe cleaner or chenille stem, whatever you guys call them, whatever your preference is, right? And give that on each edge. So it doesn't require any glue, any cable tie holders. And then on this, let me try and just add a pipe cleaner here and see if I can get placement to work. Well, I didn't have a voicemail pop up, so I'm guessing that work didn't need me super duper bad. But I will call them back here shortly. So I just feed my pipe cleaners right in through there. And because, again, I use the brown ones, they kind of blend in really well like a chameleon. I've still got a, so I added the pipe cleaner here and I just blended it into here. Now I'm gonna, I've got one of my pipe cleaners fed through here and bring those out the back end. And we'll do the same on this side. Yay! Hey guys, have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out. Have a great night and we'll see you soon.